Hey guys, welcome to the ground up, or if you've been here before, then welcome back. Um, Today I'm going to be talking with you guys about a story that I have about a situation that happened between me and INFJ, and yeah, so let's just get into it. So pretty much, just to cut things short, I had been my neighbor. I lived in a duplex. This happened about 6 or 7 months ago. I lived in a duplex, and it was very small. And so my neighbor actually went into our driveway one night, and he got into a shootout. And so, yeah, it was really intense, man. I mean, like, I could hear pretty much right outside of the door. I could see like the lights go off, and then I heard the shots. It sounded like really loud, like boom, boom, boom. Then I heard a clink. Then after that, I heard him say, "I got three more for you." And so yeah, that was really intense. Then it goes deeper, but I'll get into the rest of that later. Yeah, so when I first had this duplex, I pretty much had it for about I had it for 2 days, and this happened. I just got into this place that I'm at now, which I'm not gonna say where I'm at, but I got in here. I drove here from Alaska, and so upon doing so, I actually had a house that was going to be available for me, but it wasn't going to be available until later, until February. But I got here before that, and so I needed a place like quick. So I decided to rent a place, and it was like real bad, but I didn't really care at the time because I just needed a place that was cheap. I just got done driving all the way from Alaska, and so I was like one of my top priorities is just getting a house, like anything that I could. And this city is uh, not the best. But anyway, going back to the story of the INFJ thing. So, by the way, I'm an entp 8-wing 7, and where I work at, we have to go and like sort of get situated. So I had to go to a certain office and like give them papers and stuff like that, these type of things. And so upon doing so, this is after, by the way, after the shooting had happened, like a few days after the shooting had happened, and I was at this office that I had to go to. So I was still living at that house. Pretty much, I went into the office, and I was pretty much like there's certain stuff I have to give, like different things or whatever. And there's this paperwork that I needed to give to this person that was working there, which is the INFJ. And she had asked me for the papers, and then that's when she said, "Hey, go get these papers." And I told her, I was like, "No," I was like, "I'm not getting those papers," because they were at home, and I didn't want to go home. And so I told her, I was like, "No," and then she's like, "Why?" And then I was like, "I don't want to go back home." She's like, "Why don't you want to go back home?" And then I told her, I was like, "Well, see, I think my neighbor might want to kill me. Like he might want to kill me because he got mad one day before or something like that whenever I was still there, and he pretty much was just like it was actually his friend that came in. It was like yelling or something like that because they like to park their car in my spot, but I parked the car that I was driving in my spot, and then so I heard him getting mad saying something like some angry, then something kill, like stuff like that. And so I was like, I'm not going back to the house. I was like, fuck, excuse my language. I was like, no, I'm not going. And then this INFJ, I didn't know she was INFJ at the time. Just like in case you're wondering how I knew, like I didn't know at the time. Later on, we started like we became cool, but um, I told her I wasn't gonna go, and then she did like the unexpected. She said, "Come on." She's like, "Come on." I was like, "Come on, where?" And then she goes, "We're gonna go get your papers." And I was like, "This girl," I was like, "She's crazy." I'm an ENT. I'm an A-Wing 7. I'm an ENTP A-Wing 7. I don't care. Like I'm not gonna go and get my papers from a house where the dude might want to like, kill me or something. So I couldn't believe like when she was telling me that she was gonna bring me over there and go get the papers. And so that's what this is kind of about. It's like I'm talking about like I think INFJs have a courageousness about them, like a sort of like a level of they sort of tend to not worry about things that I guess other people might worry about, especially if somebody else needs help. Like she was willing to help me, but because like for what reason I don't know. Like well, I wouldn't think of ever telling somebody like, oh, I'll go to the house with you. Like not anybody that I don't know. I mean, of course my family. Like I would help my family. I'm not gonna go and like risk my life for somebody that I just met. But she was willing to do that, and I was like, wow, I can't believe she did that. And so yeah, you guys that's crazy. She was very helpful. I mean, like really helpful. I would not have been able to. I don't know if I would have been able to pull myself together if it wasn't for her. And so we ended up driving down to the place. But then right before we could get to the actual place, like her boss like called. She's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And then she's like, we're just gonna go get his papers. We'll be right back." And then the boss was like, "No, get back here now." And so we didn't go straight there. We ended up coming back. So I'm glad we did. I'm glad we didn't go over there though, because I would have. It was very worrisome. It was a very serious situation, and so yeah, that's just something I wanted to share with you guys. I think that's really cool that an INFJ would do that. I found out later because it did like we didn't stop talking after that. She started like she would help me out. Like she invited me over to her place and like she was cooking food and everything, and she even like took me out to get my like groceries at the store, and I accidentally left, like of course I left my stuff because I'm ENTP and like I'm super forgetful. I left my credit card by accident, and then she was gonna pay for it. She was gonna pay for all of my groceries, which was like $200. I didn't let her though, so I just used like I think I had another card on me, but it was like something, it's like a gift card or something. But I paid like from a no, sorry, I didn't pay. Yeah, I I say okay, so I told her not to get my groceries because I didn't have my stuff to pay, and then she said, "Well, at least let me get like your covers and like your pillow and stuff like that, so I'll have something like to like bundle up in whenever I go home." And so that was like really, I was like, man, I can't believe she would like help me out like that. It was crazy, man. You guys, I think INFJs they get shit on a lot, man. Because I know people say like, oh, they feel like they're unicorns or whatever. They feel like they're so high and mighty and stuff like that. I'm sure that they probably, I mean, there's people, everybody's different and nobody's perfect. But whenever like you really need somebody, like I feel like INFJ's got your back, man. That was really helpful. And I'm usually not at all like, I don't like to use, I don't, I'm an 8-wing 7. I don't like to show emotion. And I don't really like how it feels a lot of times. It's not really in my comfort zone. But I feel like that's something that just, whenever somebody goes at it their way to that extent, then I had to show my appreciation because I never would have expected somebody to do such a thing. And especially out of the situation I had just come from, because prior to having the house, I told you I drove to that place from Alaska. So Alaska, I drove to the U.S., which is I drove about 5,000 miles. That's how much it was. And a lot of times I didn't think I was gonna make it on that trip. I thought I was gonna die because when you go out there on the roads, it's very. It was a middle winter. It was icy. It was there were no guardrails. Like I was in a U-Haul and I was towing my car behind me, and I had never driven on such mountainous terrain before. It took me about 2 weeks to get to my destination. I did make stops. It wasn't all hell. It wasn't all terrible, but there were times where I definitely thought I was gonna die. And so for her to do that, whenever I'd been through everything that I did, it really showed a lot, So yeah, that's about it. That's all I have to say as of right now. And I'm sure people are probably gonna be asking like, oh, like stuff about Alaska, or the trip, and I'll make a video about that just because that's gonna be those videos will be so long. There's so much stuff that happened in between that time and when I was living there and all that stuff. So yeah, um, that's about it. If you guys like this video, then please like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.